From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's AMN Drive Time, brought to you by Aishin.
AMN Drive Time is sponsored by Aishin, your trusted and reliable source for aftermarket automotive components and technology. Visit AishinAftermarket.com for more information.
Mike, welcome to AMN Drive Time, sponsored by our good friends at Aishin.
Great to be here.
Glad to have you with us here in the summer of 2025. Mike, for the benefit of our AMN audience, I think the best way to start would it be to just walk us through your 40 plus years in the auto parts industry and how you came to SEMA. Just your background highlights for the audience to set the stage.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, I think like so many of us, I grew up with just, they talk about oil in your veins. And from the time I was probably 6 or 7, was into cars. Luckily had a few dads down the street that were into them. And so every chance I got, I was taking something apart and trying to put it back together. Went to high school in San Gabriel Valley here in Southern California. I took auto shop my junior year and loved it, had a great teacher. Senior year, we had a vocational auto shop, and that was a 2-hour class. I took that. There was in September of that year, there was a prominent SEMA member who came to my school, who had gone to my school, and was going to give a $200 scholarship to the top automotive student that year. And I ended up winning that scholarship that year. The guy was Mickey Thompson, who gave me that scholarship. And that really set me kind of on my path. He was a mentor to me along the way while I was going to college. Right out of high school, going to college at night and working at a Datsun dealership of all things. Started as a delivery driver and then sweeping the floors, what a lot of people do. Counterman, parts guy. Went on to work in the import car parts business. And for many years, you and I were talking a little bit about that offline, but I was from 75 to 88, I was in the import car parts business, worked as a store manager, and then worked my way up to VP of sales and marketing for a large group of several hundred stores, and left there. And from there, ended up over the years buying and selling 5 different companies and working through some of that, some turnarounds and building a few companies along the way. One was in the alternator starter manufacturing business, remanufacturing business, and then moved more into the performance part side. As a hobby, I always raced cars in SCCA and did some off-road in other areas. And so had the opportunity in the 90s to buy a SEMA manufacturing type business. Bought a couple of those over the years and grew those. Sold my last business in 2013 and came to SEMA on a 3-year contract to create the SEMA Garage, which is a product development center. Helps our manufacturers develop products and take them to market. And I'm now 12 and a half years into my 3-year contract as the CEO of SEMA.
That's terrific. So did you know Chuck Blum in the day?
I did. Ironically, back, we were talking about this again earlier, back when it was SEMA AI, which was the Auto International piece of SEMA, I was on the board of the AI piece of that. And I have in my office from about, more than 35 years ago, I have a picture of Chuck Blum, Chris Kirstein, who was the next CEO of SEMA, and myself. And the opportunity to have that photo working together, and now Chuck being the ex-CEO of SEMA, and then Chris, and then myself, is pretty foretelling. That who knew back then that picture of the 3 of us would be the 3 CEOs of SEMA.
Yeah, that's terrific. I know Chuck was there for a long time in that role.
He was. He really was the guy that built the foundation of SEMA and what it is today. And then Chris, for 20 years, was an amazing CEO as well. So yeah. I've got some big shoes to fill.
Yes, you do. Mike, you're passionate about ensuring that SEMA gives back to the community by helping bring the next gen of students successfully into the marketplace. I think the marketplace would love to hear about some of your initiatives there and what you guys are doing about that.
Yeah, so many things. First off, we do offer a scholarship program for students. I'm really passionate about that. Of course, with my ability to come through the automotive network, really affords me the opportunity to give back now in so many ways. But SEMA does have a scholarship program that we give out hundreds of thousands of dollars to students every single year. So that's one form. We do have a SEMA Career Center where we have a job board on the SEMA.org website that students can come in and apply for jobs within the industry. And we talk a lot about just these career fairs and those sorts of things. We do SEMA Garage career fairs. We do some of those with SAE, and then one of our councils called ETTN, where we just had one here in the SEMA Garage in Diamond Bar, California, where we had over 300 students come in, 300 engineering students from, I think, 30 colleges across as far as Colorado and California and Nevada, where we had these engineering students come in, and then we spent a whole career day with them. We brought in manufacturers and a couple of OEs to talk about opportunities in the job market. And my big pitch, especially to the engineering crowd, is that, you can go to work for Boeing or some of these other companies, and you might work on a hinge for the next 2 years, or you can come to work for a automotive aftermarket manufacturer and be right in the thick of things, developing the next supercharger or the next water pump or the next whatever it might be. So if you're a car enthusiast and an engineering student, there's no greater career than in the automotive industry. So we spend a lot of time talking about that. We are going to do that career fair in our Detroit facility on September 27th. And so that's through our ETTN, and that's available for more information on our website as well. So just a lot of opportunities in those areas. I take time when I can to go speak to high school students as well. I believe it really does start at the high school level, and especially at the auto shop level. So that opportunity, we're doing some work on our PRI side as well. SEMA, you may know, also has the PRI, which is the Performance Racing Industry Show that we do in December in Indianapolis. And we're bringing engineering students from all over that area into the PRI show because those are the guys that are going to be engineering the next racing parts, or might even be the guy that jumps over the wall in a NASCAR team to work on that car. So just introducing so many people to the opportunities in the automotive field is huge. We obviously need technicians and engineers. And, the other thing we pitch is, look, even if you're a car enthusiast, but you don't want to be in engineering, or you don't want to get your hands dirty, or whatever it might be, there are plenty of opportunities in the finance field. I mean, if you just look around our offices here at SEMA, we have marketing people that are enthusiasts. We have accounting people that are enthusiasts. We have customer service people that are enthusiasts. So the opportunity to be in so many fields within the automotive industry is tremendous. So we really try to push that to students.
Mike, you are a proponent of the One Big Beautiful Bill. And SEMA has supported the bill that ensures that U.S. tax laws pro-growth for businesses of all shapes and sizes. It'd be great if you could comment specifically how the new bill, which has been approved, of course, how it's going to benefit SEMA member companies.
We had our summer convention just last week, and I had the opportunity to talk to several manufacturers who said, you haven't seen it yet, but we're here in the Midwest and East Coast, and the amount of buzz that's going around about mean products being back in America is huge. And the amount of quotes going out for castings and forgings and machine work is huge. Even from the OE side, what we're hearing is a lot of these OEs had switched their lines to EV, of course, and now they've even shuttered some plants. So now they're trying to go back to building ICE engines, and they need capacity and they need production. So we're seeing that start to happen. But, from the specifics of that bill, of course, tax rate certainty is huge for us, in letting our manufacturers know that is a certainty is important. The 199A deduction made permanent was huge, which is a deduction of 20% to small business income. Section 179 expensing was a big deal where it raises the cap. The full expensing of R&D and capital, that's going to bring manufacturing and product back to America as well. Depreciation on qualified products, again, a big thing. So really pouring back into America and manufacturing in America and jobs in America, all of that I think is really exciting. The interest deduction as well, all those sorts of things, estate exemption. There's plenty on the SEMA side, the majority of businesses are around $5 or $6 million businesses. These are potentially just mom and pop businesses. And the ability for them to survive and to grow and to prosper with all of that big bill is really important. And that's one of the reasons why we were excited about it. Again, even the new markets tax credit. So SALT deduction, all those sort of things are really critical in that bill. So we were proponents from the very beginning. We worked with them, with the legislators on it, and excited to see it go through.
Mike, some people are probably not as aware or not aware as much as SEMA is active year-round, and it does more than just the annual trade show in Vegas. So I think it'd be great to tell us about the projects that most people don't know about. And if you also want to talk about the upcoming Vegas show in November, that'd be great too. But I think, primarily focus on the projects that many just may not know about that SEMA is involved with throughout the year.
Yeah, we talk about what SEMA does the other 360 days a year. It's funny when I run into people that ask me what I do and I say I work for SEMA, and they say, oh, do you live in Las Vegas and do you work on the show all year round? And because we're a trade association, we do so many other things. And obviously, what we're known for is the SEMA show and really industry work that we work alongside of Apex on. And of course, that's 160,000 people. It's B2B for really the automotive industry. It becomes the center of the automotive universe for that week. But there's plenty of things we do the other days of the year. For example, we have this SEMA garage. We have two of them now, one here in Diamond Bar, California, and one in Plymouth, Michigan. And those are product development centers where we help manufacturers take products to market. And so, for example, just kind of starting in the beginning with somebody that wants to develop a new product, we have CAD data available. So starting with the SEMA garage, we have a product development center. And it starts at the very beginning with CAD data. So we have tens of thousands of CAD files on file, where if you're a SEMA manufacturer, we can work with you with those CAD files for all different make, models, years, several different manufacturers, literally tens of thousands of files, where we can either supply you with scan data or CAD data to begin with that product development. Once you've developed that product, we can help you with 3D printing to do a prototype if you like. We also have vehicles here in the garage where you can test fit those products and really work with them prior to going to market. One of the biggest features of our garage is our emissions compliance department. And what that is, as many know, if you're going to develop any product that affects fuel or air, so anything literally in the engine compartment, ICE engines, it has to go through a CARB EO process prior to selling it. And we help with that complete process. So let's just say you're going to develop a supercharger for the new Mustang. We would work with you on, you would have that product developed, and we can help you with the CAD on it. And then once that product is developed, you can ship us that part. And let's say, again, it's for a 25 Mustang. We'll go find the 2025 Mustang. We'll install that supercharger for you on the vehicle. We'll put it through our emissions lab. We'll do all the CARB EO testing. We'll fill out the application on your behalf, submit it to CARB, submit the test results to CARB, and help you get that EO that is necessary. And so it used to take up to 2 years to get one of those done. We can do it as little as 4 months. And we have a full staff that just helps you through that complete process, works through all the cumbersome paperwork. We have those labs both in Diamond Bar, California and Plymouth, Michigan. We have a staff of 22 people that just do that kind of work. So it's a pretty complete service, and obviously necessary so that you get your CARB exemption and you're qualified with both the EPA and CARB at that point and can legally sell those parts. So huge thing again. We also do measuring sessions in those garage where we'll bring the latest model vehicles in. So let's just say it's the 26 Ford F-150. And we do a measuring session. We work alongside the OEs where manufacturers can come in and actually look at the vehicles. We can help them with that CAD data. We can help them with scanning. We can help them with that product development. Again, they can test those products on the car so that when that vehicle comes out, those products are ready to go into the marketplace. So really helping that manufacturer develop products and take them to market. And then we do education seminars in those garages as well. So, and then probably the newest thing that we're really working closely on is all the ADAS systems that are going onto these vehicles today. So what we're really close with now is both static and dynamic testing. So let's just take that Ford F-150 example again, and you wanted to change the suspension ride or change the wheels, any of those sorts of things, and you want to, maybe the overall lift is 3 inches by the time you're done. We can work with you on all those ADAS components to understand what happens when the ride height changes on the vehicle. So camera angles, sensor angles, all those sorts of things. And we have a lab in Detroit that works on those sorts of ideas that helps with not just the static testing, but the dynamic testing. For example, we'll work with TRC down in Ohio, where we actually do the dynamic tests that many of you guys have seen, where you drive the vehicle down a track and a balloon person comes out or a car comes out in front of it and the vehicle has to stop in a certain amount of feet. Again, those camera angles and views can change based on ride height, lowered or raised. And so we do a lot of work in that area to better understand what's going on there. And then as a tie to that, we have a pretty big government affairs team in Washington, D.C., and we're working alongside NHTSA and other manufacturers to understand what the rules and regulations are going to be. So for example, self-braking will be mandatory in 2029 on vehicles. What does that mean to the aftermarket? What does that mean even to the replacement parts market? And how do we make sure that all those safety components are working together come 2029? And I'll give you just an example. Let's just take the 29 Corvette or Mustang or any other performance car. Currently, there isn't a program that you'll be able to shut off self-braking. So if you wanted to take that Corvette on the racetrack and dive into a corner in the apex, the thing could self-brake. Or you want to pass another car, the thing, lane change departure warning wouldn't let you do that. Or you want to take your Jeep or Bronco off-road and it sees a rock. It won't allow you to do those sorts of things without the capacity to shut some of those systems off. So just working between government affairs, NHTSA, the OEs, and some of those other people that are involved in this piece of it, we're working alongside MEMA as well on these things to better understand what happens, what are the regs going to be, having a voice at the table as these regs get developed so that we think about the aftermarket in general and that it just doesn't become a project that only OEs can walk through.
Mike, let's talk about SEMA Show 2025 and specifically about the engagement with the professional community versus the consumer.
Yeah, it's important for us to continue to have a B2B show, and we do that Tuesday through Thursday. Friday, we do let some consumers in because our manufacturers are asking for that. But Tuesday through Thursday, B2B only. It's the only opportunity for 160,000 people to come to one place. If you think about what it would take for a buyer to go to all the different manufacturers, during the year, or for a manufacturer to go see all their buyers during the year, versus having one spot for a week where they can talk to each other, that's a really critical component of what we offer. And then we are adding, even this year, more and more technical information. So for example, we are going to have an ADAS section at the show where technicians and OEs can work together and understand the capacities of ADAS, understand what the technologies are doing, understanding where they're going. And so even dealer meetings and the opportunity for different repair facilities now to come in, talk to tool manufacturers, talk to technology people. We're developing all of that now with the 25 show, and really now starting to reach out to not just the buyer and seller of products, but those people that have to work on those vehicles. And we see that even expanding more. In addition to that, we have a future tech area where we talk about the newest technologies. We're technology neutral. And so we understand that EVs are going to be part of the future. We believe hydrogen is going to be part of the future. Low emissions fuels will be part of the future. Synthetic fuels are part of the future. Of course, ICE engines, all of that. And so we have a section within the show that is just what we call our future tech area, and it talks about all those different types of technologies. ICE engines running on hydrogen, what the heavy duty market's going to look like, what the sport compact market's going to look like, and really engaging both manufacturers and technology people in that section of the show to talk about those sorts of things. So pretty excited about that. And then, of course, the body shop section, the tool section, the custom tire and wheels section, all those sorts of sections of the show, of course, racing and performance and truck are all really critical, just different pieces of the SEMA show.
Mike, it is tradition on AMN Drive Time to do something called lightning round.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you're just going to
Okay.
give me a quick answer like lightning, okay?
You got it.
All right. You sure you're ready?
I hope so.
Okay. What's your, I know you're a real car guy. What's your favorite type of car racing that you like to watch or attend?
Oh, that's a little bit like asking who my favorite child is, because I enjoy all sorts of racing. But, as an amateur racer, I probably love the SCCA stuff, road racing. I'm more of a road racer than I probably are a drag racer. Formula One, IndyCar, any sort of road racing is really exciting to me.
What is something, Mike, so you've been around a while, you know a lot of people, we talked about that. What would be something that others might be surprised to know about you?
I love to cook. I love to be with my family. We do a lot of other activities. I love to water ski, boating, cooking, and we have a lot of family time. As Italians, we all get together. My kids are nearby. Two of my kids, I have 2 boys and a girl. My daughter's a stay-at-home mom. My 2 boys are in the automotive industry, so I'm proud of that. But we get together just about every weekend for a nice family meal.
Love that. What's your specialty item that you prepare, Mike? Do you have something that
For sure, spaghetti sauce. Yeah,
All right.
a family tradition handed down. I like to make meatballs and spaghetti, and even invite the neighbors over from time to time.
Love it. Mike, what was your very first car?
That's an easy one. My grandparents gave me a 55 Mercury when I was 13. It had 165,000 miles on it. It wasn't running. Along with a couple of neighbors, I pulled the heads off, got it a valve job, got it put back together on the nights and weekends after school, and got it running. Unfortunately, that car left me when I was 14 because my dad came home early from work one day and caught me driving it down the street. So it went away pretty quick. And in California, you couldn't get your license till you were 16. So that was a couple of years prior to me being able to drive.
So once you were 16, what was your first car that you were actually legal to drive?
Yeah, legal to drive was a 1966 Datsun truck. I'll tell you how bad it was. I bought it from a gardener for $600. It was too rough for the gardener anymore, but it was a jewel to me.
In your opinion, you've been in leadership roles often through your life. Are there any particular qualities about a good leader?
Yeah, I think it's important to really understand the industry and know what that is like and stay on top of things. I read every trade magazine. I read, every sort of article I can to just stay on top of things. It's difficult. Obviously, you have to have good communication skills. I think you have to be able to negotiate. You have to be, I was talking the other day about having to die on your sword from time to time when you know what's right, but trying to get people to come along and believe in your ideas or listening to their ideas, negotiating, pulling the team together. We have 11 different divisions here at SEMA, and getting everybody to be on the same page, working together as a community. We really have worked a lot on working as an enterprise versus kind of siloing departments and making decisions together. And I think that's been really good for us as we grow the business.
Well, as we've talked, you're clearly a car guy. This is the last question, okay?
Sure.
Any favorite road trip memories from age 16 to right now? Does anything jump out at you?
So when I was racing, there's several. And again, we do a lot of family vacations and trips and motorhoming and all those sorts of things. But I can remember in my 20s racing, and I had a crew, and we were just, putting things together the best we could. And we would take the motorhome, tow the race car across wherever it might be. And even, I hate to admit this now, but change drivers while we were racing down the road or driving down the road. And so those were pretty fun times. But really, any chance to get out, drive along the coast with my wife and or family, and getting out to any racetrack is always fun for me. There's so much to see, and there's so much great opportunity and great roads across America. I enjoy driving them all, and I travel enough that I try to get out and just explore a little bit.
Mike, it's great to have you on AMN Drive Time, sponsored by our great friends at Aishin.
It's an honor to be here, so thanks so much. First time, and I hope it's not our last.